Part 33. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 321. Chapter 321. Are you sure she really comes from the famous Shen family? Shen Ro's face was extremely ugly. She always thought that it was Qiao Chen who seduced Shen Xian first. Her sister's eyes are as high as her head, and there are so many outstanding young people from wealthy families around her, but none of them are attractive to her. How could I fall in love with a thin, weak, poor boy? However, after hearing what Qiao Chen just said and looking at Shen Xian's reaction at the moment, she gradually came to understand. It was really Shen Xian who took the initiative to pursue it. And Qiao Chen doesn't seem to like her. Shen Ro suddenly felt ashamed. She glared at Shen Xian complainingly and angrily. Just as she was about to say something, she heard a familiar voice, "Miss Shen, it turns out that this is your tutor from the Shen family. I have seen the so-called upbringing and etiquette of a famous family." Shen Ro's expression suddenly changed. She raised her head and saw Qiao Mian standing behind Qiao Chen, looking at him expressionlessly. Qiao Chen was also stunned and turned around in surprise. "Sister, why are you here?" He stared at Qiao Mian standing behind him with wide eyes, as if he was frightened. Seeing Zhang Luli coming with Qiao Mian again, he was stunned again. "Sister Lulu, are you here too?" "Yes, Xiao Chen, long time no see, did you miss me?" Zhang Luli looked at Qiao Chen's delicate and beautiful face with a smile on his face. She has a direct gaze. Qiao Chen was a little embarrassed by her stare. His face was slightly flushed, and he pursed his lips and coughed lightly. Zhang Luli also knew that the current situation was not suitable to continue teasing him, so he only teased him for a while and then stopped making fun of him. She raised her head, looked at Shen Ro who was standing opposite them, put away the smile on her face, and sneered, "The Shen family, shouldn't it be the richest Shen family in Yunqing? This is the Shen family. The eldest lady? I heard that the eldest lady of the Shen family is well educated, gentle and dignified, and is a well-known lady. Why did we just see a sarcastic and mean-spirited madwoman? Baby, are you sure she really comes from the famous Shen family and not from some nouveau riche family? When it comes to fighting people, Zhang Luli has never lost to anyone. She is a master at quarreling with others. The things I like to do the most are tearing white lotus flowers apart and punching scheming bitches." She also heard part of what Shen Ro said to Qiao Chen just now. She was so angry that she wanted to rush out and slap Shen Ro on the face. What kind of famous lady? That mouth is too harsh and annoying. She actually said that Chen, who is so handsome and cute in her family, seduces her sister and wants to climb the high branches of the Shen family. Nonsense. She is too self-righteous. Do you think you are just a person and want to climb the high branches of the Shen family? Her family Chen is not such a person. I really didn't expect that the noble lady in the rumors would be such a person. It was really different from what others described. As expected, no rumors can be trusted. Only when you see it yourself can it be true. A socialite of this caliber will tarnish the word socialite. Qiao Mian never thought about having to fight with Shen Ro face to face. Shen Ro is Mo Yesi's friend after all. She doesn't want to make things difficult and make their friendship difficult. So she didn't tell Mo Yesi a word about what Shen Ro said to her last time. But now, she found that her idea was wrong. She has seen clearly that her scruples are simply unnecessary. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 322. Chapter 322. I want Ms. Shen to apologize publicly. No matter what she does, she can't change her status as a love rival in Shen Ro's eyes. Shen Ro's attitude towards her is impossible to change. The most precious thing for Qiao Mian is her younger brother. Otherwise, she would not have agreed to marry Mo Yesi for Chiao Chen's surgery. Her dearest brother, being insulted like that by Shenro, was unbearable, and her anger instantly rushed to the top of her head. She curled her lips and sneered, and responded to Zhang Luli, "Yes, this is the daughter of the Shen family who comes from a famous family. I thought that the Shen family was also a famous family with some cultural heritage, and the offspring they educated would not be any worse. But Miss Shen's quality and self-cultivation just now broke my understanding." Zhang Luli looked thoughtful and continued, "Some people think that they are nobler than others and think that they are great. People in this world, as long as they look at her more at first glance, it seems that he has evil intentions towards her and wants to seduce her and join her family. But I don't know that she is just a joke in the eyes of others. Haha, what kind of famous Shen family? I don't care how awesome or amazing you are, our family Chen Chen is not rare at all. By the way, I just heard that it is Shen, the eldest lady's younger sister, is actively pursuing us, Chen Chen." She followed Shen Ro's example just now, with a trace of disdain in her eyes, and said coldly and mockingly, "Some people are deaf and blind, and they have to distort black and white facts. I don't know which I saw us Chen Chen pestering her sister." Shen Ro's face turned dark. Zhang Luli's voice was loud. She cursed, and many people looked over. Some of them knew Shen Ro, and they immediately started pointing at her and whispering. Shen Ro maintained her identity. Even if she was scolded by them, she couldn't say the same ugly words to fight back. She could only suppress her anger and said, "Miss Jiao, what happened just now was a misunderstanding. It's true that I didn't understand the reasons behind it. I'm sorry for wronging your brother." More and more eyes are coming from around. Shen Ro had to hold back her anger and apologized. She has to maintain her image. The eldest daughter of the Shen family is elegant, noble, well-educated, and will not be someone who quarrels with others outside. However, Chiao Mian had no intention of accepting her perfunctory apology. She sneered and raised her lips, "Miss Shen just said so many insulting words about my brother, do you want to let it go with just one misunderstanding?" Seeing that she was so aggressive and refused to step down, Shen Ro was a little annoyed and frowned, "Then what do you want?" Chiao Mian looked directly at her, "I believe many people here heard what Miss Shen insulted my brother just now. Therefore, I want Miss Shen to apologize publicly." She pointed to a stage where the piano was placed and said word by word, "There is a microphone there. If Miss Shen sincerely apologizes, go to the stage and apologize." Shen Ro seemed to have heard something extremely shocking, her eyes widened, "You want me to go to the stage to apologize?" "That's right." Chiao Mianmian's tone was strong, leaving no room for negotiation, "Go to the stage and apologize to my brother. Say you have wronged him and say you are sorry to him. This kind of apology shows sincerity." Shen Ro's temper was almost gone, and her face turned blue. She clenched her hands, gritted her teeth and whispered, "Chiao Mian, don't go too far." "Excessive," Chiao Mian smiled coldly, "if you want to say it is too much, it is better than Miss Shen. When you humiliated my brother with those rude and mean words just now, why didn't you say that you were too much?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 323. Chapter 323, I went to the flower shop to pick it out. Do you like it? I can understand Miss Shen's desire to protect her sister, but if you want to protect your sister, you have to step on my brother's head. You are a sister, and so am I. If you insulted my brother, you must apologize to him." Shen Ro stared at her with a livid face for a while, then suddenly raised the corners of her lips and smiled, "What if I refuse?" Then I can only go to Uncle Shen and Aunt Shen and tell them exactly what their daughter did today. The moment the man's deep and cold voice sounded, Shen Ro froze. Qiao Chen looked up and saw Mo Yesi slowly walking towards them holding a large bouquet of flowers. His eyes suddenly lit up and he immediately called out affectionately, "Brother-in-law." As soon as he called out brother-in-law, Zhang Luli looked at him with admiration. She didn't know that Mo Yesi and Qiao Mian were married, so she thought Qiao Chen was really sweet-tongued, so she called her brothers-in-law. It can be seen that he is quite satisfied with his future brother-in-law. But thinking about it, Mo Yesi's conditions are indeed very good. Just this super good-looking face is enough to make many women crazy about it. Mo Yesi glanced at Qiao Chen and nodded slightly in response. He slowly walked up to Qiao Mian holding the very conspicuous bouquet of red roses. Zhang Luli moved his position knowingly and stood behind Qiao Mian. "Baby, congratulations on your successful audition." Mo Yesi seemed not to notice Shen Ro's stiff face, and handed the bouquet of roses in his hand to Qiao Mian, speaking in a low and gentle voice. The scent of flowers that hit her nostrils and the red color in her eyes made Qiao Mian startled. She blinked, looked down at the dewdrops rolling on the rose petals, and said with some surprise, "Given it to me." This is the first time Mo Yesi bought flowers for her. Of course this is not the first time Qiao Mian has received flowers from the opposite sex. In the years when she and Suzy were dating, Suzy gave her a lot of flowers. Especially in the early stages of a relationship, I send gifts very frequently. But when she just saw Mo Yesi walking towards her with a large bouquet of red roses in his hand, she still felt her heartbeat speed up. Mo Yesi curled his lips. "I went to the flower shop to pick them. Do you like them?" He has never given flowers to girls. This is the first time in my life. He actually didn't know what flowers she liked, but the clerk at the flower shop said that girls generally like red roses because red roses are a symbol of love. So he bought this bouquet of red roses. "You also went to the flower shop." Qiao Mian's eyes were filled with surprise and a hint of surprise. She couldn't help but raise the corners of her lips and took the flowers with a sweet feeling in her heart. A large bouquet of red roses, which she held in her arms. She lowered her head and smelled the faint fragrance of flowers, and her mood instantly improved a lot. "Thank you, I like it very much." Watching her smile, Mo Yesi also had a pleasant smile in his eyes, and his thin lips slightly raised. Sure enough, girls all like flowers. Shen Ro was standing behind them. The conversation between Qiao Mian and Mo Yesi was not quiet, she heard everything. She looked at the dazzling red bouquet of roses with disbelief in her eyes. Mo Yesi not only bought flowers for women, but also went to the flower shop to choose them himself. This is not something he would do at all. How could he think of sending flowers to a woman? He had sent her flowers before, but Shen Ro knew very well that the sending of flowers was definitely not his own intention. "Your boss Mo is here." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 324. Chapter 324, Are you so, too biased? He just asked his assistant and secretary to do it. Himself, he would never waste time on such small things. Not to mention, go to the flower shop to choose in person. He has never done these things for anyone, but now, he has made exceptions again and again for Qiao Mian. Thinking about all his abnormal behaviors during this period, they were all related to Qiao Mian. For a time, a strong sense of imbalance and jealousy came to my mind. The feeling of being ignored and ignored by Mo Yesi made her heart feel as if something was stabbing her, making her extremely uncomfortable. At this time, Mo Yesi put his arm around Qiao Mian's waist and slowly turned around. He looked at Shen Ro with sharp eyes. "Why are you still standing here? Go to the stage and apologize." Shen Ro's face turned pale. "Si." She pursed her lips and took a deep breath. What happened just now was a misunderstanding, and I have made it clear. I did something wrong, and I am willing to apologize, but is it too much to apologize on stage? This is stamping her self-esteem to the ground. She would never agree. Besides, she didn't feel that she had wronged Jiao Chen. Even if it is really Jiao Chen who Shen Xian pursues on her own initiative, is Jiao Chen completely innocent? If he had no interest in Shen Xian at all, why would he come to the restaurant for a date with her? His refusals were just a way of playing hard to get. It was because Shen Xian was too naive that she fell into his trap. Mo Yesi didn't care at all about the friendship between the two of them for many years, and said in a businesslike and indifferent tone, "You think it's too much now? Then what you just did was not too much. Shenro, don't have double standards in life. You did something wrong. If something happens, you have to apologize. It is up to the other party to decide how to apologize. Mian has just said the solution. I hope you can have the courage to admit your mistakes and go to the stage to apologize to Jiao Chen." Actually, Mo Yesi didn't know exactly what happened. When he arrived at the restaurant, he only heard Jiao Mian say something general. But he believed in his wife. His wife is definitely not at fault, so the only person who is in the wrong is Shenro. Shenro looked at him in disbelief. "ACI, you know how embarrassing it is to go on stage to apologize, but you still want me to go? We have known each other for so many years, and your trust in me is not as good as the one I've just met this woman. What did she say? Are you too biased?" Shenro bit her lips, her eyes red with grievance. Although Shen Xian was still angry at Shenro's behavior just now, she also felt that it was too embarrassing to apologize on stage. How could she accept such a proud and arrogant sister? Furthermore, haven't her sister and brother Yesi been good friends for many years? But why does brother Yesi help others? Also, why did Jiao Chen call Yesi brother and brother-in-law just now? "Brother Yesi, this is all my fault." Shen Xian choked with tears in her eyes and said, "If you want to apologize, let me go to the stage to apologize. My sister was also worried about me, so she misunderstood me." What happened with Jiao Chen? Mo Yesi ignored Shen Xian. He only looked at Shenro with cold eyes. Mian is not a woman I just met not long ago. She is my wife, my wife. She occupies a very important place in my heart, position of woman. Mo Yesi, yes, I am partial. I am not partial to my wife, but am I partial to you? I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 325. Chapter 325 ACI, you really went too far. Shenro, it seems that all the things I said to you before were all in vain. You can choose not to go up, but as I just said, I will tell Uncle Shen and Aunt Shen truthfully about this matter, and I believe they will give me an explanation. Shenro saw that his attitude was cold and forceful. There is really no room for negotiation at all. He is determined to help Jiao Mian and the others. She had always relied on the fact that they had known each other since childhood and had a deep relationship for many years. Even if he got married, the woman he had only known for a short time could not keep up with her position in his heart. So, she didn't take Jiao Mian seriously. She always believed that she was the woman who would stay by his side in the end. But after Mo Yesi took Jiao Mian back to Mo's house, she felt a little panicked. She didn't expect that Grandma Mo would like Jiao Mian so much. Grandma Mo is the most authoritative person in the Mo family. In addition, everyone in the Mo family is very filial to her. If Grandma Mo likes people, few people will object to them. In addition, Mo Yesi is also a person who goes his own way. No one in the Mo family can control him. What if, one day, he really falls in love with Jiao Mian? How long will it take for her to wait until he and Jiao Mian divorce? Even with Mo helping her, Chiao Mian and Mo Yesi were already married after all, and it would not be easy to separate them. Unless Mo Yesi has no feelings for her and only marries her because he is not allergic to her. But thinking about the conversations she had with him in the study that day, he clearly has feelings for Chiao Mian. At least there is now. Chiao Mian can coax Mo Yesi into having a flash marriage with her, but there's no guarantee that she won't use other tricks to confuse him after the marriage and make him become more and more obsessed with her. Whether they will get divorced in 1 year, I really don't know for sure. If Chiao Mian conceives a child during this year, her position in the Mo family will be stable given the importance the Mo family places on heirs. Thinking of this, Shenro became more and more frightened and panicked. "ACI, do you have to do this?" Shenro met his cold and indifferent gaze, and the feeling of panic that just emerged became more and more intense. Mo Yesi has really changed. He was so confused by Chiao Mian that he didn't even care about his friends. Previously, he would never have put her in such an embarrassing situation. Let's not treat him with such indifference. Mo Yesi pursed his lips and said nothing, but the meaning in his eyes was clear. Shenro was forced to tears in her eyes. She bit her lip, took a deep breath, gritted her teeth with an insulted expression on her face and said, "Okay, I'll go to the stage to apologize. If this is what you want to see, I'll go for it." She said this as if she was angry with Mo Yesi. After finishing speaking, she raised her legs and walked towards the performance stage. Seeing that she really planned to go to the stage to apologize, Chiao Mian was quite surprised. She thought that Shenro might get angry and walk away. After all, asking the arrogant Miss Shen to do such a thing might be more uncomfortable for her than killing her. "ACI, you really went too far. I really didn't expect that you would give up all your friends for this woman. You know very well what Rura has done to you for so many years, and now you actually force her to this point." Shenro just took 2 steps forward when someone pulled her back. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 326. Chapter 326. What is your purpose? Gongzili's originally feminine eyes were full of anger, and his face was covered with a haze. "I made an appointment with a friend to eat here." Shenro pursed her lower lip. "Zili, please let me go. I did not do well in what happened just now and misunderstood Mianmian's brother. It is also right for me to go to the stage to apologize to him now." Gongzili's sinister gaze fell on Chiao Mianmian's face. "Even if you did something wrong, you can't apologize in person, but you have to go on stage. This is not an apology, it is humiliation. I want to know who asked you to go on stage to apologize." Shenro glanced at Chiao Mian, pursed her lips and said nothing. "So it's you." Gongzili looked at Chiao Mian with an increasingly cold and sinister gaze, with a hint of undisguised disgust in his eyes. "I knew you were not a simple woman. You first tried to confuse ACI and you got married in a flash, and now you are driving a wedge between him and our group of friends. What is your purpose? Chiao Mian, do you really think that I won't dare to touch you with ACI protecting you?" As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Yesi's fist hit his face. Punched down hard, knocking Gongzili to the ground. "Ah!" Shenro screamed in fright and hurriedly knelt down to help Gongzili. When she saw Gongzili's swollen eyes, she widened her eyes and raised her head to look at Mo Yesi in disbelief. "ACI, you actually made a move on Zili, how could you do this?" Mo Yesi looked indifferent. "Chiao Mian is my wife. If you want to touch her, I'll destroy you first." His words were addressed to Gongzili. Gongzili covered his swollen eyes with one hand and stood up slowly while enduring the dizziness. "He looks very handsome." It is the kind of handsomeness with a bit of evil and cold charm. But at this moment, his soft and handsome face looked a little funny and a little embarrassed. The previous image of a noble young master has completely disappeared. Mo Yesi showed no mercy with that punch. When Gong Zili showed no respect to Jiao Mian time and time again in front of him, and said those rude and excessive words, Mo Yesi no longer regarded him as a brother. His brother would never do such a stupid thing. So what if we have been friends for more than 10 years? Mo Yesi loves him very much and is reluctant to give him a little treasure that has been wronged. No one can bully him. Even if he is a biological brother, he will fall out. What's more, Gong Zili can bully Jiao Mian in front of him again and again. It is conceivable that if he is not around in the future, will it get worse? If you don't teach him a lesson, it will only make him more unscrupulous. Mo Yesi did not regret this punch at all, and even wanted to punch Gong Zili in the face a few more times to teach him how to behave. Compared to Shenrou's shock, Gong Zili also looked shocked. That punch made him sleepy. After he got up from the ground, it took him a while to come back to his senses. The pain in his eyes reminded him that Mo Yesi had really attacked him just now. The four brothers have known each other since they were children. He later joined the Gang of Four, but if you look carefully, he and Mo Yesi have known each other for 15 years. 15 years of friendship is quite good. Not real brothers, but close enough. They were all boys, so naturally they grew up playing and fighting. This was not the first time that he and Mo Yesi had a fight. But it's different. This time is different from any other time. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 327. Chapter 327. This time it's a warning. The fight before was just a play between brothers, just for fun. This time, Mo Yesi was really angry and punched him viciously. He beat up the best friend with whom he had the closest relationship because of the woman who seduced him into having a secret marriage not long after he met her. Gong Zili covered his swollen eye and slowly raised his head. He stared at Mo Yesi with angry and disappointed eyes for a while, then looked away at Jiao Mian who was standing next to Mo Yesi, and suddenly raised the corners of his lips and smiled. The smile had a cold flavor, which sounded a little inexplicable. Mo Yesi, are you going to kill your brother for this woman? Mo Yesi looked at him calmly. My brother wouldn't do what you did. So, you mean you don't regard me as your brother now? Do you want to sever ties with me? Gong Zili gritted his teeth. This is your own choice. Mo Yesi's face was indifferent and his voice was also calm. This time is a warning. The next time, it won't be such a simple matter. Gong Zili said in disbelief, our friendship of more than 10 years is nothing in your eyes. If it weren't for the friendship of more than 10 years, do you think you can still stand up now? Mo Yesi's voice was still very calm, but it added a bit of coldness. Gong Zili, this is my last warning to you, be polite to my wife. The coldness and alienation in Mo Yesi's eyes made Gong Zili understand that he really wanted to draw a clear line with him. He really didn't care about their friendship for more than 10 years. He was already dazzled by the woman named Jiao Mian. Brothers are nothing in his eyes. Now, Jiao Mian is his favorite. No one else can say a word. Seeing that the matter was a foregone conclusion, Miyazawa calmed down little by little. The way he looked at Mo Yesi became colder a little bit. After a moment, he sneered and said, very good. Mo Yesi, today I've finally seen what it means to be a real person who values sex over friends. I've known more than 10 people. Years later, I realized who you are. I was blind before, so I could be brothers with a heartless person like you for so many years. Okay, since you think there is no need for us to be brothers, then we will no longer be brothers. Zili, don't be impulsive. After hearing what he said, Shenrou's face changed and she hurriedly advised. Gong Zili sneered, I'm not impulsive at all. Rura, haven't you seen it yet? He is no longer the ACI we knew before. Who else does he have in his heart now besides the woman next to him? Those of us who think we are good brothers and good friends with him are nothing in his eyes. We are farts who can give up at any time. He can trample on your self-esteem and attack me for this woman. Do you think it is necessary to have a close relationship with such a person? Shenro's eyes were red, tears welling up in her eyes. She bit her lips and said nothing. Yes. The current Moyesi is no longer the same person as before. He now feels very strange to her. When she was particularly angry and sad, she also thought about ignoring him. But how could she really ignore him? He is the man she has liked for more than 20 years. He has already become the most important person in her life. How could she just give up? Besides, she is never willing to quit like this. She hasn't fought hard yet, so it would be too cheap for Xiao Mian to give up like this. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 328. Chapter 328, let's talk about it sometime later. ACI, do you have to be like this? Shenro raised her eyes, with a hurt expression on her face, and choked. We have always been fine before, why is it like this when we come back? There is another meaning in her words. Ever since Jiao Mian knew that Shenro was hostile to her and regarded her as a love rival, she was able to interpret another meaning to many of Shenro's words. Does this mean that she is the culprit that affects their friendship? Without her, none of these things would have happened. Xiao Mian had also felt before that she had affected the relationship between their friends. For this, she felt a little guilty. But now, she won't have any guilt anymore. She was not the one who was in the wrong, so why should she feel guilty? All this time, she has never taken the initiative to pick a problem. It is said that the one who flirts first is cheap. If Gong Zili had a quarrel with Shen Raojin and Moyesi, it was their fault. Anyway, Xiao Mian couldn't understand their brain circuits. As a normal person, if you see that your good friend cares about another person, would you still be so disrespectful to the person your good friend cares about? Isn't it clear that we are going to cause trouble? Let alone the wife he cares about. Given her relationship with Zhang Luli, if someone said something wrong about Zhang Luli to her face, she would also explode. Moyesi looked at her without saying a word, but his eyes were also distant. Rura, let's go. Gong Zili grabbed Shenro's hand and raised the corners of his lips mockingly. If you ask him, what can you ask? What is the answer? You don't know yet? He has already done it. It's his choice. Do you still have any hope for him? Shenro still looked at Moyesi with tears in her eyes, and said sadly, ACI, I know those words just now are not your true words. I won't take them seriously, and neither will Zili. You are still angry now, you won't listen to anything we say. Let's have a good talk after some time. Gong Zili sneered and moved his lips, wanting to say something else. Shenro tugged on his arm, with a pleading look in her eyes, and gently shook her head towards him. Meeting her gaze, Gong Zili clenched his fists, took a deep breath, and suppressed his anger, and suppressed the words that came to his lips. He has never been able to refuse any request from Shenro. Especially when she looked at him with such tearful eyes, he couldn't refuse. Since she wouldn't let him say anything more, he wouldn't say anything anymore. Zili, let's go. Shenro gently pulled Gong Zili's arm again. She wants to leave. She won't be able to bear it if she doesn't leave. Seeing how Moyesi defended Xiao Mian, her heart felt like it was being torn back and forth by a pair of invisible hands. It hurt so much. She felt like she was in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. Okay, let's go. Gong Zili glared at Moyesi with a cold expression, then looked at Xiao Mian with a deep look, then turned and left with Shenro in hand. Shen Xian stayed where she was for a while. She raised her eyes, which were red and swollen from crying, and looked at Jiao Chen. There were still sparkling tears in her eyes. She bit her lip and asked softly, "Jiao Chen, I want to ask you a question. I hope you can answer me truthfully." Jiao Chen looked at her red and swollen eyes, as if his heart was blocked by something, and said in a dry voice, "What do you want to ask?" "Thank you Z23, Lang Envy, Temperature Difference, 18216, Friendship, Tang Tang, Hainer, 13945, remember to reward." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 329. Chapter 329. But in the future, I really can't. Shen Xian looked at him intently and asked word for word, "Do you really think I'm annoying?" Jiao Chen's expression changed slightly, and the hand hanging by his side tightened. After Shen Xian asked the question, she said nothing more and waited quietly for his answer. Mo Yesi and Jiao Mian also turned their heads and glanced at Jiao Chen. About 10 seconds later, Jiao Chen took a deep breath and said in a calm voice, "Yes, so I hope you will stop pestering me in the future." "Shen Xian, you have a fiancé. It's not good for you to pester other boys like this." Shen Xian's lips moved and she opened her mouth to explain. She wanted to say that she did not have a fiancé. The person Shen Ro was talking about was not her fiancé. It was just that the elders of the two parents had that intention and wanted them to get married after graduating from college. But, she didn't agree at all. But when she looked at Jiao Chen's cold look and his slightly frowned eyebrows, she felt that it was not necessary. She explains what she does to a person who doesn't like her, or even hates her. Will Jiao Chen care? Shen Xian's heart felt like a knife was cutting her, it hurt so much. She has liked Jiao Chen for many years. At the opening ceremony of her freshman year of high school, she saw Jiao Chen standing on the stage to speak on behalf of the freshmen, and she fell in love with him at first sight. Then, he stalked and beat him for 3 years. In the past 3 years, Jiao Chen rejected her many times and said that she was annoying more than once. But Shen Xian didn't think he really hated her. Because when Jiao Chen said she was annoyed, there was no disgust or real impatience in his eyes. But this time it's different. Shen Xian saw things in his eyes that would hurt her. She could see that Jiao Chen really didn't like her. No matter how much you like someone, you should have self-respect. She had been insisting before because she thought that as long as she worked hard and persisted, one day she would impress him. After all, she had been stalking him for 3 years, and Jiao Chen had always been tolerant of her, right? She thought she still had hope. Until today. He was probably really annoyed by her, so he didn't want to tolerate her anymore, so he just said what was on his mind. He even said he hated her. What other reasons does she have to persist? 3 years of entanglement finally come to an end today. The moment she decided to give up, Shen Xian's heart felt like a knife piercing her heart, and her face turned pale in pain. Her eyes were filled with heat, and tears instantly burst from the corners of her eyes. "Chen Xian, you." Jiao Chen frowned, and the feeling of blockage in his heart became more and more uncomfortable. "Jiao Chen, don't worry, I won't pester you anymore." Shen Xian smiled while crying, "I'm sorry for bothering you for 3 years and causing you a lot of trouble. I also know that I am quite annoying. You have obviously told me that you don't like me, but I still keep pestering you. But in the future, I really can't do it anymore. I'm really, really sorry." After she finished speaking, she bent down and bowed deeply to Jiao Chen. "And I'm really, really sorry about what happened just now. I apologize to you on behalf of my sister." She bowed deeply again. Jiao Chen looked at her blankly, his body gradually stiffening. After Shen Xian finished all this, she seemed to have really let go of everything. She didn't look at him again, turned around, and slowly chased after Shen Ro. Qiao Chen remained motionless, looking at her slowly leaving back with a stiff expression. When Shen Xian told him that she would never pester him again, her look seemed like she had really let go. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 330. Chapter 330, Is this the kind of marriage that requires a certificate? For some reason, Qiao Chen felt that his heart suddenly felt empty. There is also a slight tingling sensation in the heart. The person who had been pestering him for 3 years was finally willing to let him go. He should be happy. However, he did not feel joy or relief. My heart became heavier and heavier. His eyes showed confusion and confusion. He doesn't understand what's wrong with him. The person who knows Qiao Chen best is Qiao Mian. Looking at her brother's lost look, Qiao Mian glanced thoughtfully at Shen Xian who had walked away, and had some rough guesses in her mind. I'm afraid, her stupid brother doesn't really hate others, just hates them. Asterisk. Everyone ate with their own thoughts on this meal. While eating, Qiao Chen would take out his cell phone from time to time and look at it, not knowing what he was looking at. Anyway, he looked absent-minded. Zhang Luli couldn't wait to pull Qiao Mian and ask her clearly, when exactly she married Mo Yesi. Just now, when that Gong Zili told about the flash marriage between Mo Yesi and Qiao Mian, she was so shocked that her jaw almost fell to the ground. Okay. The whole person is not in good condition. Oh my god, her baby and her boyfriend are already married. But, why doesn't she know about this? What Qiao Mian told her was that she was just in love with Mo Yesi. There is a big difference between falling in love and getting married. Zhang Luli was a little angry because she never thought that Qiao Mian would hide it from her. They are the best sisters. She actually kept such a big thing like marriage to herself. Qiao Mian also saw that Zhang Luli was unhappy. She thought about it, took out her mobile phone, edited a WeChat message, and sent it to Zhang Luli. After the phone rang once, Zhang Luli also took out his phone. Clicking on WeChat, she saw that the person she had written baby sent her a WeChat message. Bao, mian baru ofeng luo, I didn't mean to hide it from you. When I get back to school, I'll explain it to you slowly, okay? Zhang Luli raised his head, glared at her, and replied with one word, humph. Qiao Mian immediately took out her cell phone and typed another line, I really didn't mean to hide it from you. I'll tell you everything you want to know when I get back. Luoluo, good Luoluo, the cutest and most beautiful little fairy in the world, please don't be angry with me, okay? Being angry will affect your beauty. Coquettish hug emoticon package. Zhang Luli looked at this reply that was full of flattery. Even though he was still a little angry, he was no longer as unhappy as before. After all, Qiao Mian has a good attitude towards admitting her mistakes. She is not unreasonable either. Since her baby chose to hide it from her, there might be something inconvenient about it. No matter how good your best friends are, they still have their own secrets, and they cannot tell each other everything. The sugar is not sweet, okay, I'll settle the score with you slowly when I get back. But, are you really married to your boyfriend? This time, Qiao Mian replied quickly, yes. The sugar is not sweet, is this the kind of marriage where you get a certificate? Mian Buruanmen, yeah. Ginger candy isn't sweet, you told me that you didn't even consider getting married until you were 28 years old. Qiao Mian looked at this reply, her fair and tender face stained with a layer of scarlet. She pursed her lips in embarrassment, not knowing how to respond. Well, she did say this before. That's indeed what she planned. End of this chapter.